Hello, I'm Rob Slater. Welcome back to the Clearwater Safety channel, where we aim to bring you practical solutions to your real-world safety problems. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss new videos as they're released. Also, make sure you check out the links to the companies we work with. So let's talk about working at height. So what is working at height? Well, I guess the first thing that you may think of is this. Until a few years ago, with the advent of the work at height regulations in 2005, the concept of work at height didn't really kick in until you were about 6 feet or 2 meters up. You weren't really working at height unless you were that high. But then the great they did some research, and they found that most people were injured or even killed when they fell from less than 2 meters. Think about it. If you fall off a curb, well, that's 4 inches or 100 millimeters, and you land badly, you can break your ankle. If you're really unlucky and hit your head, well, that can be fatal. So now, work at height is anything above ground level. And the important thing to understand is that ground level can change according to where you are. You can be on the top floor of a building. That is your ground level if you need to reach the ceiling, for example. Or you can be on the edge of an excavation. If you can fall into it, then ground level is the bottom. Basically, if you can fall downwards or off something, then you are working at height. So why is work at height so important? Well, fall from height, and remember I said anything above ground level is work at height, is the single biggest cause of death in industry, and has been for years. Despite all the changes in legislation, all the control measures, the barriers, the signs, the training, people still fall off roofs. They still fall through roofs, through skylights or fragile asbestos or plastic sheeting. They fall from scaffolds that are incomplete, and yes, they fall from steps or ladders. A long time ago, I had a client, I dropped them very quickly. They had an open loading bay on a mezzanine floor. The warehouse staff had to stretch it across the gap to the forklift truck to take off window frames. This is about 3 or 4 meters up, with nothing to stop anyone falling. Bear in mind, I said, it's still the biggest killer in industry. I said to the MD, Martin, you can't have guys working like that. His response, why? No one's fallen off yet. So how can we stop people falling? Or, if they do fall, how can we reduce the chance of injury? Well, there are 2 different ways. You've got fall prevention and fall arrest. Fall prevention is exactly what it says on the tin. It stops you from falling in the first place. It could be as simple as barriers to stop you from getting to an edge, or if you need to work closer to an edge, there are systems that allow you to get there but stop you falling off. Wearing a harness with a fixed length lanyard will let you get to the very edge, but it won't let you step over. Then you have a variety of fall arrest systems. These are used when it's not practical to use a preventative measure, and are intended to allow you to fall a certain distance but will arrest or stop you, hopefully before you can hurt yourself. These include solid raised floors called crash decks, or soft landing systems such as nets strung across a building. These are often seen under steel frames, or you can use bean bags. Of course, the ideal solution is not to work above the ground at all, or at least to reduce the time spent up there. However, in the real world it's obviously not practical, so it's about planning. Back in the day when I was on the tools, we would often rock up to a job on a Monday morning and try and cobble something together to get up to the roof or wherever, using whatever we had on our vans. We basically didn't know any better, but when I look back at those times, look at what we did, it was scary. Now we have moved on. The principal or the sole contractor is supposed to make sure that any high level works are planned before the trades get to site. The sad fact that men still fall off or through roofs, etc., would suggest that either the planning isn't done, or if it is done, the supervision on site isn't up to scratch. So how can we help? Well, getting us in before you start on site is always good. We start on site tomorrow really doesn't help. It's not just about writing the risk assessments and method statements, it's about planning the actual job, maybe changing how you can do a particular task. This is where our years of practical experience are invaluable, so talk to us. We don't want you to add to those statistics, and we don't want you to have to call the wife or girlfriend of one of your guys. So thanks for watching, keep your feet on solid ground, and I'll see you in the next one.